Radhika's mother had so many rupees with her. She gave Radhika so many rupees. How much money was left with her? Now, sometimes when you are solving word problems, you can use another technique where you reduce the size of the numbers. Okay, so if you know that Radhika's mother had 8 rupees and she gave Radhika 2 rupees, okay, then how much was left with her? You know, this is a mental sum. If you have 8 rupees, you give somebody 2 rupees, obviously 6 rupees will be left with you. So with the numbers 8 and 2, what did you do? You subtracted from 8, you subtracted 2, that's why you got 6. So you know that you have to minus. So in this particular case, the number is not 8 and 2, it is 856.50, and it is not 2, it is 253.48. So these numbers are to be subtracted. So first thing you know is you have to subtract. Second thing we need to know is the statements. What is rupees 856.50? It is the amount that Radhika's mother had. So that itself will be your statement. The amount Radhika's mother had. And what is rupees 253.48? That is the amount she gave Radhika. So that itself will be your statement. The amount she gave Radhika. And finally, your therefore statement where you will subtract these two numbers and write the answer. And what is your therefore statement? They have already asked in the question, how much money was left with her? So your therefore statement, therefore, the money left with Radhika's mother. If you write her, you wouldn't know whether we are talking about Radhika or Radhika's mother. So just to clarify that, we write, therefore the money left with Radhika's mother. Okay. And then you subtract and write the answer. That's how you have to do this one. Question B. There were so many kgs of tomatoes and some onions in a bag. So there is a bag and there are some tomatoes in it and onions also. And the weight of that full bag filled with tomatoes and onions is 97.20 kg. How much did the onions weigh? Now again, similar thing, reduce the numbers. Okay. So instead of so much kgs of tomatoes, you say 5 kg. So there are 5 kgs of tomato. You don't know how many onions are there, but the total weight of the bag is 9 kg. So if tomatoes are 5 kg and the total weight of the bag is 9 kg, obviously we know that the remaining weight is of the onions. So from 9, if you subtract 5, you'll get 4, which is the weight of the onions. So here we are not taking 9 and 5, but we'll take 97.20 and 50.26. So we subtract these numbers. Okay. Then statements. Now what is 50.26 kg? It is the tomatoes in a bag. Okay. Or if you want to write kg of tomatoes in a bag, you can write that. You want to use the word quantity, you can write that. Quantity of tomatoes in a bag. You can write like that. Same way, 97.20 kg. What is that? That is the total weight of the bag. Okay. So you can simply write the weight of the bag is so much. Therefore, the weight of the onions, that is also given in the question. How much did the onions weigh? So what will you write? Therefore, the weight of the onions. That's it. Next, we go to question C. Kritika completed a 100-meter race in so many minutes and Savita completed the same race in so many minutes. Who ran faster and by how many minutes did the other lose? So there is a 100-meter race we can see, and Kritika ran it in 2.09 minutes and Savita ran in 2.90 minutes. Now we have already learned how to compare decimal numbers. When we look at both of these numbers, we come to know that 2.09 is less than 2.90. Okay, so Kritika completed the race faster because she took less time. Okay, so that is our first answer. Who ran faster? Kritika ran faster. And how many minutes, by how many minutes did the other one lose? Means Savita lost the race. And why did she lose? Because she took little extra minutes than Kritika. So to find out the number of minutes that she took more than Kritika, what will you do? You will obviously subtract. So you know how many more minutes she took. So when you subtract, you will get the answer to the second question. So the next question is, Ankit drove so many kilometers on Monday, so many kilometers on Tuesday. How many kilometers less did he drive on Tuesday? So he's been driving on both the days. So on Monday, we can see that he has driven 115.8 kilometers. And on Tuesday, it is a smaller number, 79.7 kilometers. So now the question is, how many kilometers less did he drive on Tuesday? So Tuesday कितने कम किलोमीटर वो गया? So again, if we take smaller numbers, what will happen? Say for example, he drove 11 kilometers on Monday and on Tuesday only 7 kilometers. So how many kilometers less did he drive? 11 minus 7, that is 4. So we know that on Tuesday he drove 4 kilometers less than on Monday. Okay. So we have to subtract. Now regarding statements, what is 115.8 kilometers? Number of kilometers Ankit drove on Monday. So that will be your first statement. And what is 79.7 kilometers? Number of kilometers he drove on Tuesday. So that will be your second statement. And finally, what are you finding out? Kilometers he drove less on Tuesday. Number of kilometers he drove less on Tuesday. That is what you're going to find out. So that will be a therefore statement. So when you write the therefore statement, you have to be careful. Don't write the question word like how many, who, how much. These are question words. These question words will not come in the therefore statement because now you are giving the answer. You are not asking a question. Okay. So therefore, the number of kilometers less he drove on Tuesday. That can also be your therefore statement. What should be added to 3.1 to get 15? Okay. So now 3.1 is smaller than 15. So to make 3.1 15, we have to add something to this number, then it can become 15. So that is what they're asking. What should be added to 3.1 to get 15? That is a question. Now, for us to understand it better, we can reduce the numbers. What should be added to 3 to get 5? I change the numbers. With 3, what will you add so that you make it 5? You know that 3 plus 2 will give you 5. Okay. Now, the numbers that I gave you were 3 and 5. And you told me the answer is 2. Then, how can you get 2 when you have 3 and 5? From 5, when you subtract 3, you will get 2. So here, instead of 5, it is 15. And instead of 3, it is 3.1. So from 15, you subtract 3.1 and you will know the number that has to be added. Okay. So you don't have to add. You just have to do the subtraction. Now in this, you will not be writing statements like the earlier questions. You will simply do the subtraction. And when you get your answer, you will tell this number has to be added to 3.1 to get 15. Now next question. What should be taken away from 16 to get 4? Now 16 में से तुमको क्या निकालना पड़ेगा? इतना हटाना पड़ेगा that you will get 4. Okay. So I reduce it. What should you take away from 6 to get 4? अगर तुमको 6 में से 4 चाहिए तो तुम क्या निकालोगे? कितना नंबर निकालोगे? So 6 minus 2 is 4. So with the help of 6 and 4, how can you get 2? From 6, if you subtract 4, you will get 2. So here the numbers are 16 and 4.96. So again, you know that you have to subtract. Okay. So you subtract and no need of all the statements, just one therefore statement. After you get the answer, you write therefore, whatever number you get as the answer, the difference. This should be taken away from 16 to get 4.96.